Hey guys, welcome back. Let's get started. Last week we had a pretty nice week. Followed through as expected. Amazon, Tesla, Netflix all went to their upper targets, right? Tesla still has a bit more to go, but we've always kind of had 350 as our target on QQQ. So, at this point in the market, right, given that we're already approaching resistance, it kind of forces you to kind of reevaluate where we are kind of in the market structure, right? So let's go back to this chart, and we know that QQQ, right, has like a significant resistance at, like let's go to the weekly chart on QQQ, and we can kind of see that, I don't know why there was a line here, but it looks like 368 is kind of a level of resistance, and there is another level of resistance. Yeah, correct. Sorry. I forgot why I put this line up here, but there is another level of resistance right here, right? This previous support, right? It can turn into new resistance at 353. So, I mean, I don't expect us to start this C wave to the downside, right? What I do, or potentially, do foresee happening is, let me just remove all these excess lines. Like, they're super helpful intraday, but when I'm showing you the weekly chart, right, kind of is messy. So, okay, let me show you QQQ, right? This is your wave one. This is your wave two. This right here is your wave three, right? And then I'm expecting that wave four to come down, right? Before it has that wave five. And then that's kind of where I expect this, entire rally to kind of be done with. And we start this downside wave, right? So let's kind of look at some fib extensions, right, for QQQ, and you can kind of see that we've gone over the 1.618 fib. We're approaching the 1.8. If we break the 1.8, then we're very likely, going to move up to level number, 2 extension. So yeah, this 353 will be an important level, right? Because it generally, right, the wave three generally rejects off this. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if QQQ has a wave four pullback before it goes higher. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm bearish on the market, right? Because if we go to the chart of SPY, we know that it's actually broken and opening over supply, right? This was an outside bar, right? Like an outside bar that got bought up. So bullish again, and we're opening above this entire resistance level. So, I mean, we don't need QQQ to keep running for SPY to go higher, right? Because we know for a fact that IWM, right, is lagging again, kind of just having an inside week, right? And if IWM breaks 178, then it should easily move up to 183, 190, right? So you could have a sector rotation, right, out of like the FANG stocks. Like, rotation doesn't mean a major sell-off. It just means it could just distribute with minor selling and move sideways till the rest of these other stocks, kind of catch up. And then they can all, kind of just sell off all at once. It's kind of still what I am watching, right? I mean, one of two things is going to happen, right? Either this entire thing is a bearish pennant, right? And IWM, like just, continues to go sideways, and then we break below 170 and start selling off, in which case then we can kind of assume the top may be in the market, right? But we still would need to see that take place. Even if I go to the Dow, right, you'll be able to see that so far, like, even though it's been relatively weaker, like this is the level of demand. As long as like it stays above, 328, like that's still, bullish to, kind of push higher before we go lower. Only if we start to break 328 would I start to get more bearish, right? I would still say it has room to like even 319, right? Retest it and still have potential to move higher. But yeah, like 390 and 320 is kind of the level to, kind of get bearish under. But yeah, I mean, I still think money could rotate out of tech, and, and then kind of give it time to like cool off, have an RSI reset, right, before it continues higher. So yeah, it's kind of my perspective, right, on the market right now. We look at the wicks. This helped us, kind of figure out that, like the market pretty much, right, looks pretty broken. Weekly support is broken. So yeah, I mean, I would kind of be careful because Wix is kind of looking for $13. We look at the 10-year, kind of the reason IWM has been lagging is because 10-year has been higher, right? I wouldn't be surprised at all if 10-year, yields come back to like 2.9. But again, this again kind of is looking like a breakout. You would need the yields to sell below 3.6 to kind of gain momentum, right? So I would watch to see if it breaks 3.6. If it does, then yields could possibly go lower before they go higher, right? Let's look at the dollar. So the dollar, I don't think is a wave 4 anymore, right? Because I mean, it's a wave 4 in bigger picture, right? But it wasn't that smaller wave 4 I had drawn. It's that initial ABC that we were watching that just kind of is playing out. It's not a very like, so far the extension, right? You can see that it's coming to the 786 of, of this recent leg, and that this generally is a truncated wave, right? Which generally tends to tell you that the market, right, if the dollar does reject off here, it could have a massive sell-off. But yeah, right now it's at truncation levels. Generally, if this is an ABC, then dollar, possibly goes up to 107 before this ABC structure is done. So I will kind of be watching this 104 level for clues, right? The dollar, gets over this 104.5, then I think, given that the market is extended, you could kind of see a pullback, right? While the dollar pushes to 107, and then you can see the market uptrend resume again, right? Or if this continues to sell off against this 104 level, then we're pretty much, very likely going to go down to 99. So yeah, it's kind of what I see on the dollar. All right, with that being said, let's kind of look at this week's watch list. I just kind of want to caution that, given that we are extended, just like manage your risk, right? Like size your positions a little lower than you normally would. But yeah, some stocks that, again, like I said, if there is a sector rotation from IWM, I mean from QQQ into IWM, then I think ROKU, right? If it can break over 57, then I think 57, 58, then I think ROKU could be one of those stocks that could, benefit with the bullish impulse this week. So ROKU is the first stock that I think could do well, follow through this week if we continue to move higher, right? And the next one I have is Lulu. Again, I do understand that it's had a very bearish extended engulfing. 7% is a lot, but you can see that it is trying to fill its gap, right? And we know that it has support kind of down to like 320. So I feel like if it can break below 340, it could come down to 320. And bigger picture, right? Something I want to show you on Lulu is if I go to the weekly chart of Lulu, you'll be able to see that, yeah, can you see how it is in a rising pennant? It finally, kind of broke the flag, and we just kind of retested it before selling off. So that could, bigger picture, right? Even if it bounces this week, I am still bearish Lulu into 2024, right? So I just kind of wanted to maybe say that it could be an interesting continuation short this week if it does break below 339. So the next one, before I do the next one, we've discussed this Bitcoin chart, right? Discussed how 30,000, 32 is probably where it's headed. With that being said, I do think that Mara could be a good benefactor, right? If Bitcoin does kind of break out, and ideally, I would like Mara to break over $10 because we know it is sideways, right? So Mara could be a great play in a both bullish and bearish scenario because of its consolidation pattern, right? So if it can break above $10, then I can definitely see it head up to 13 and 15. And if Mara, breaks below 8.7, then I can definitely, see it come back to $6. So that's kind of the chart on Mara. And we also know that the downtrend, right? This is almost a 1.5-year downtrend. It broke the downtrend. It's kind of just consolidating. So I would say bulls do have the upper hand, right? But maintain the levels on the chart. All right, let's look at the last one. The last one I have is Philip Morgan. Again, the reason for that, kind of an inside day, right? Kind of a bearish chart, rejected this trend line, but we do know that it has support here at 90. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it bounces using this level, but if it does break the support at 90, it's, got a lot of room to the downside. So again, something I wanted to, just kind of throw up there and bring it to your attention. All right, guys, thank you so much.